It's very important that you start building a resiliency to your stress. And so some may call this stress management. I like to say building resiliency because you are building up and recognizing when you have the negative stressors in your life and looking at how you can then mitigate those and manage those, and then identifying that there is a difference between good stress and negative stress. And so one of the challenges we have right now in our society is that we do have this constant bombardment coming at us that is continuously increasing our stress levels. So, back in the day, our ancestors, right, when we would, be out, hunting and gathering and such, and all of a sudden there's like a tiger there in the distance, all of a sudden we're like, oh my gosh, there's a tiger. And we just totally increase the cortisol in our body, and our body goes, oh my gosh, you have to get out of here. We go into what they call fight or flight mode. And so we either have to fight that tiger or we're running as fast as we can, right? And so personally, I'd be running. And so we have that. And so what happens when that happens at that particular time is our cortisol gets increased, and our adrenaline starts pumping, and our body then says, okay, it's time to run. So we are going to do everything we can to just be as efficient as a body as possible and just start running. Well, what does that mean? Well, if you're just now digesting your food, for maybe you were having your lunch while you're out there hunting and gathering, now your body is like, all right, we're not going to digest any food. We just have to put all of the energy into preserving ourselves. So we need to do whatever we can to get our legs pumping. So get your blood flowing to those particular parts of our body, and then stop all other processes in our body that do not immediately help us run as fast as possible away from the tiger. Okay. So that is what happened back then. Well, it's still happening now. The difference is, instead of a tiger, it is a work email that came in that you weren't expecting. It was a conversation with your family. There was another meeting that just had a not so great ending, which you just got you all frustrated. Whatever those things are, we're constantly increasing our stress. And the challenges these days is that we're not coming down from it. We are getting bombarded from all different aspects, from with our work and our personal, and then what's happening in the political world and such. We're constantly being bombarded with so much stress that we don't have a chance to come down. So our body is constantly in this I'm running from a tiger mode, except you're sitting at your desk at work. And so you're not noticing that your body is in that way. So you're a very shallow breath. So your breath is up here shallowed, which also tells your body that I'm stressed. I need to run away from this tiger, when really you're just not breathing very well. So all these things are happening to us, and we're being bombarded. So we are constantly increasing our stress level and never coming down. Well, what is that doing to us? Well, I mentioned how when we were getting ready to run away from that tiger, that our body says, hey, let's just focus in on all the systems that will help us get away from this tiger, right? Which one of them is digestion, for example. There's no reason to digest food right now when I need to run, because I might be someone else's food, right? And so that still happens now when we're stressed out, that if you are constantly at this level of stress, your body isn't processing, it isn't digesting as well as it should. So if you're wondering gosh, I just have all this weight I can't get rid of, it's time to really look at how are your stress levels. And if you're like most people, especially here in the US, your stress levels are probably at a pretty high level, just as your kind of norm. And so that brings us to what this particular Wellness Wheel Wednesday is talking about, is looking at dimension number 9, which is all about spirituality and gratitude, when really it's talking about how can you build resiliency to your stress. And so it's having some sort of practice that can take you and disconnect you from whatever those stressors are, to give you a chance to come down, to decompress, to just be, right? And so some people may look at this and say, okay, that means self-care. Yes, self-care falls in here. So whatever you can do to just relax and take care of yourself, go get a massage, whatever you need to do with that. Maybe it's meditating. Maybe it's going to a yoga class. Maybe it's just sitting and reading a favorite book of yours. Whatever that is, that you can then really sort of take back and really implement that self-care practice that can then bring down your chronic stress levels. And so with that also, I mentioned meditation and yoga and such. And so there is an aspect to it that's sort of a more of a spirituality aspect, right? Where you have sort of a connection to something greater than you. So you may look at that in terms of, God and your religion, or you may look at it as just, higher powers that are out there, or however you want to look at that. just realizing there's something bigger than us and having that connection and just really looking to maybe connect with that higher self or being is also something that would really help us with our health. And if that's too like woo woo for you, another way you can look at it is just being thankful and having gratitude. And so, just really looking at how can you be building your stress and resiliency? And one of those ways is through just being thankful for what you have and thankful, and just really just, be thankful who's around you and who do you have in your life. Even if it's a very small list, of what you're thankful for, it's important to at least have a list. And so, today's micro action is just recognizing that, one, where are you at with that chronic stress level? Do you need to be building up your resiliency to stress? Of course, foods can help you out with that as well. So refer to previous videos on how healthy your food choices are in terms of how you can build your resiliency to stress with food and the food mood connection. But really also here looking at how can you be improving your connection, your spirituality and gratitude. And one of those ways I do is that I do through a gratitude journal. So here is mine. I don't always use it to be honest, but I do make it a habit that every day I am grateful for something. And so I try to list 3 to 5 things. I've now kept it more to like 3 things that I am grateful for that day. And sometimes it's just I'm grateful for my bed. And it could be one of those days. For example, today, right? So getting ready to do this video for all of you, I jump in the shower and I have no hot water, right? It was lukewarm for like a moment. So there was hope that it was going to get hot and then it went straight freezing cold. And so in that moment, of course, I was not the happiest person, but, as I was coming out of that shower, it really made me reflect back and go, wow, I'm so grateful that I have the ability to go and turn on water and have it be on demand in my house. And I have that ability where then I can turn that on and have it be hot water most days. And that just having reflection that majority of the world does not actually have that. And we're very fortunate, and just having that reflection and going, yeah, it was kind of crappy in the moment, but overall, I'm so grateful that I have that. And is really recognizing and having that sort of connection to that, there's so much more beyond me and whether or not I had a hot shower or cold shower, but it's looking at, just being grateful and thankful, and, in that moment. And so tonight, that's one of the 3 things I will have on my list. And so really recognizing here, the point of this for Wellness Wheel Wednesday is that spirituality and gratitude, although it's how I refer to it here in the Wellness Wheel, it also means self-care. It also means your stress management, your stress resiliency, and recognizing how you need to have some sort of practice, some sort of grounding, something that can just disconnect you from the everyday. And whether that's even like just turning off the TV and not having the news on, the reality TV shows on, et cetera, and just, even just sort of escaping into a book, even escaping into, a nice movie could even maybe potentially fall into this area as well. But just recognizing the need to really just come down and disconnect from all those stressors will just do so much for you and your health. And going back to my original story on the tiger, you will also improve your health in terms of, physically. You will start to see it reflected in your blood pressure levels, your weight, losing those pesky pounds. You have better sleep. There's all those aspects that are also affected by having spirituality and gratitude in your life. A reminder to those of you that are in my community, so if you're seeing this video, that means that you do get a free wellness strategy session with me. And so that is a 30 to 60 minute conversation that we have all about you and your health, and then how we can help create healthier habits for you in your personal situation. So that just a reminder that's out there, and for you to take advantage of that. To do that, just go ahead and message me or go to onedegreehealth.com/schedule, or just simply email me at Danielle@onedegreehealth.com to get that scheduled. So, all right, so that's all for today for Wellness Wheel Wednesday. So we're coming up on the home stretch. We're rounding third base really here. So next up we have environment. So the next 2, one is work environment and another one is home environment. And so while they're similar, they are very different. And so I look forward to sharing Wellness Wheel Wednesday on those next week, and I'll see you then. Okay, bye.